During the past few seasons, Danny Ainge has had the luxury of designating all-star players to lead the Boston Celtics with guys such as Al Horford, Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, and Gordon Hayward. And obviously, this helped the Celtics become consistent contenders as the team has been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. But right now, the team is finally in the hands of their young star tandem of Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who this early in their careers looks primed to lead the Celtics for sustained success in the future. And Tatum and Brown's progress have put them in a position to be seen as one of the greatest guard-forward combinations of all time, as at the beginning of this season, the young star tandem has joined Shaq and Kobe as well as KD and Steph Curry to become only the third pair of teammates during the last 20 seasons to each record more than 250 points in their team's first 10 games of the year. Obviously, Tatum is an immensely talented young player who's already an all-star while also being branded as the Celtics' best player. But currently, Brown is also making his case to become a first-time all-star as he's been showing tremendous improvements with his game this season. But with all the talent that these two guys have and with all the playoff success that they've already gained throughout their first few seasons, the question is, do they really have what it takes to reach the next level and lead Boston to an NBA Finals appearance or to an NBA championship as the team's co-superstars? And how does this young tandem compare to other successful star pairings which we've seen in recent years? What's good, guys? It's Rero Balls here, and today we'll try to look into how Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown could possibly lead the Celtics to championship number 18. But before we move on, it would be great if you guys could hit that like button right now and show the channel some support. It only takes a second of your time, but it helps me get my content out there to more people. So let's get to it. During the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals, a 20-year-old Jayson Tatum and a 21-year-old Jaylen Brown gave the NBA a glimpse of the future as they pushed a LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavaliers team to an epic 7-game battle. Well, of course, we know LeBron dominated the series statistically, but that time, Brown and Tatum held their own, and as a duo, they were right there in terms of production. Jaylen Brown led Boston in scoring during that series with 19.7 points per game, while Tatum, who was a rookie, was second in scoring with almost 18 points per game. And realistically, who knows what would have happened if the Celtics didn't have a rough shooting night in Game 7. But anyway, from that point on, I think anyone who paid close attention to that series should have already figured out that Boston's young duo can eventually lead them to a championship in the future. Going head-to-head against a LeBron James team isn't gonna be the easiest task every time, but the fact that the Tatum and Brown-led Celtics took the Cavs to 7 games even without Kyrie Irving was a huge indication of things to come in the future. And right now, you can say that both guys have already experienced tons of baptism of fire moments in the playoffs. Brown has been in the conference finals 3 out of his 4 seasons, while Tatum has also been in the conference finals twice during his 3-year NBA career. And fast forward to this day, this tandem is currently hitting scoring numbers that the NBA rarely witnesses from a duo. And this is no exaggeration, as so far in the season, Tatum is averaging 26.8 points on 46, 41, and 86% shooting splits, and Brown is averaging 26.7 points on 52, 42, and 76 splits as well. Right now, their combined 53.5 points per game average makes them one of the highest single-season scoring tandems of all time. And right now, they're the only pair of teammates in the entire NBA who are both in the top 15 in scoring. And not even the Brooklyn Nets, who features a high-scoring superstar trio, have accomplished this so far in the season. Well, yeah, it's not really unusual for a duo to put up these kinds of numbers scoring-wise, but more often than not, it's actually a sign of success. Because since the 2010 to 2011 season, only a total of 12 teams have had 2 of their players in the top 15 in scoring during the same year, and 9 of those 12 teams have made it to the NBA Finals. This includes the KD, Steph Curry Warriors teams from 2016 to 2019, the LeBron and Wade Miami Heat teams, and the LeBron and AD Lakers team who won the championship last season. And out of all those teams that didn't make the finals, almost all of them have made the conference finals with the exception of the Westbrook and Harden Houston Rockets team last season. And so this tells us that the Celtics are looking primed to reach the finals this season if you based it on how they are being led by a high-scoring tandem so far. Well, of course, scoring isn't everything, but Tatum and Brown have also shown tremendous leaps from their games throughout the years. Well, if you look at it, Jayson Tatum came into the league as Boston's player of the future, obviously. He was a 3rd overall pick, but I think it's safe to say that he wasn't really seen in 2017 as potentially a top 5 wing player in the NBA, which he is today. After putting up 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist per game as a rookie in a Kyrie Irving-led squad, so far the guy has blossomed into an unquestionable superstar. So far this season, despite having more responsibilities as is being used in 31% of Boston's plays, Tatum has been able to match his 53% effective field goal percentage, which was the same number he put up in his rookie year. Plus, the guy is also building on his good passing from last season as he's currently averaging a career best 4.1 dimes per game and is also matching his career high 7 rebounds per contest. On the other hand, Jaylen Brown as a rookie didn't really put up eye-popping numbers. His 6 points, 2 rebounds, and almost 1 assist per game averages caused a lot of fans to assume that the guy didn't really possess future star potential, and instead, the guy looked like a reliable role player if any. But of course, Brown was playing behind guys like Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, and Marcus Smart in the Celtics rotation, and throughout the years, the guy has clearly established himself as a key piece of Boston's young core, and this season, Brown has taken his game to a whole nother level to say the least. Currently, the guy is even battling it out to be the Celtics' leading scorer, and as of the making of this video, Jaylen Brown trails Jayson Tatum by only 0.1% in terms of points per game. But looking on the other side of things, I think what sets this tandem apart and what makes them special are their defensive abilities. Tatum and Brown's height, build, and switchability allows them to be able to defend guards, wings, and bigs, which obviously complements Boston's defense. Because realistically, how many teams in the NBA can say that they have 2 oversized wings who are also their 2 best offensive weapons while also being really good multi-positional defenders? Well, if you look at it, according to NBA stats, throughout their careers, Jaylen Brown has spent 47% of his time on the court defending guards or forwards, while Tatum has defended guards 50% of his time and forwards 47% of the time as well. But of course, if you watch the Celtics play, you'll most likely see that they usually defend as a team, and Brad Stevens usually employs defensive schemes which focuses on a lot of switches. And that really makes it hard to analyze individual defensive stats, especially this early in the season. But if you look at it, Boston is an undersized point guard in Kemba Walker who isn't really known to be a great defender. Well, I don't think he's a bad defender at all because he actually tries on that end of the floor, but whatever the guy lacks in size is still being covered because of Tatum and Brown's ability to guard perimeter players, and because the team also has one of the best defenders in the league in Marcus Smart. Well, that's just the luxury that the Celtics get by having 2 stars who are really good two-way threats. Brown and Tatum's presence makes you almost expect them to employ a team defense approach most of the time, and their switchability guarantees that both of them will never really have to guard any opposing team's best player 100% of the time, because if they did, it could possibly impact their individual production and offense. But with the Celtics having a couple of special two-way wing players in Tatum and Brown, also comes the question of, do they even have to designate one of them as their go-to guy moving forward? Because looking at great star tandems that won championships in recent years, you'll notice that most of them had the clear-cut number 1 option. LeBron and Wade won the championship in 2012 after Wade admitted that he tried to be the main guy the season before, leading them to lose against Dallas. Anthony Davis might have had the bigger scoring responsibility for the Lakers in the finals last season, but LeBron was still obviously in charge. Even the Warriors in 2017 to 2019 had KD as the team's main scoring weapon despite Curry being their outright team leader. Well, to be honest, a lot of times this season, Jaylen Brown has looked like the Celtics' best player, but personally, I still wouldn't say that he's the number 1 guy over Tatum, at least on offense. Not to take anything away from Brown, but Jayson Tatum still has a much more polished offensive arsenal as of the moment. But if any, Jaylen Brown has also shown a lot of maturity, especially in endgame situations. And the guy is showing everyone that he just isn't the Robin to Jayson Tatum's Batman anymore. But overall, I don't think this should really be much of a problem. Maybe we shouldn't buy that weird narrative that the media has been putting up regarding who among the two should be in charge. While even last season, Tatum has already been crowned as Boston's de facto best player and it still is. But if any, the Celtics are just lucky to have a guy like Jaylen Brown. I think if this was any other player who came before Tatum but was sort of overshadowed in terms of team responsibility, it would have been a complete disaster for Boston. But the good thing for the Celtics is that Jaylen Brown just has no ego, and he just plays through everything and he just lets his game do the talking. And so I think it's just better to let these guys go under the natural progression of things, because honestly, if you were building a 1-2 punch designed to lead a team to a championship, I think you'd put it through the exact developmental process that Tatum and Brown have been through. Plus the thing is, both guys are still probably 3 or 4 years away from their primes at least, and both are under contract at least until 2020. 2024. This just gives both of them a lot of time to work on their games and a lot of time to decide on the details of who's going to shoot what kind of shot when needed. Well, the Celtics won their last NBA title in 2008, but they had to acquire Kevin Garnett from Minnesota and Ray Allen from Seattle to make that happen. But right now, Danny Ainge has the chance to create something more special, I think, and that is winning a championship with two of their homegrown guys as the team's best players. Right now, I think everything is in place for Boston. They have a team with underrated depth, they have young pieces who are still developing, but most especially, they have the time. Tatum and Brown are already stars, but I think the key for the Celtics moving forward is that both of them establish themselves as legitimate off-ball threats while continuing to develop as passers. And hopefully, they won't ever find themselves being mentioned in the same light as those superstar partnerships who fell into the your turn, my turn style of play. Because obviously, that kind of dynamic sets a certain ceiling to a team's success. And I think if both Tatum and Brown are able to do that, then it's definitely not hard to see them leading Boston to banner number 18. And if you're a Celtics fan, do you agree with my take? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel as well. Again, this is Rero Balls and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.